Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli, back with another review video, and of course, continuing on with the Christmassy reviews on the weekdays. So that's right, guys. We now come to this, and as I clearly teased in the last Christmassy review, I'm sure you guys figured it out, and since I mentioned Nick Cage, yes. And I'm not doing this alone, because joining me is my dad, aka Little Blue. I mean, you know, because both me and him, we're both Nick Cage fans.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And this film that we are now reviewing, which is something Christmassy, and it stars Nick Cage himself. And, yes, that's right. From 2000, this being The Family Man. Yeah, so The Family Man, yeah, because it's a very interesting Christmassy film, and, yes, and on account that it stars Nick Cage, and I don't know, it's not every day you'd see a good actor like Nick Cage in something Christmassy. I don't know. But, yeah, and the fact because, you know, this coming straight from Universal Pictures, and say what you will, but yeah, Brett Ratner, who directed this, whom, by the way, Brett Ratner, because most prominently, because he's directed a lot of music video stuff, but on the side of films, he's directed a lot of action-packed stuff from, say, Rush Hour to one of my favorite X-Men films, Last Stand, and I almost forgot that he directed this, and not to mention the music and score being done by Danny Elfman, yeah, but, I'll go first, because mine's very short, because with the first things I have to say about The Family Man, because, you know, The Family Man, because I knew a little bit about The Family Man before, I mean, especially since I had seen the poster before, and when I, at times, would look up and view the library of films that Nick Cage has been in, and, I don't know, maybe I might have seen one or two clips, but not enough of it, and I really, back then, didn't have full knowledge of what goes down in this movie, but until, say, you know, from you and my mom, like, each of my parents, giving me some details about the film and such, and the fact that it's really good, and, I mean, of course, at one point I wanted to check this out, and which, thus I did, and, yeah, I mean, I gotta say that The Family Man, it's a pretty good Christmassy film to have Nick Cage, and with other great cast members that are in this. And definitely, because we were talking about this before, that there's somewhat of, like, it's very similar to what goes on, like, say, what happens in It's a Wonderful Life. Which I know you'll probably talk more about that when we turn to you, but, yeah. And, the way that this movie is done, the storyline, and the direction this takes with Nick Cage's character, what he goes through, and yeah, and what a moral lesson that he learns at the very end, and a glimpse, as it's called in the film, but we'll give more details on that further on. I really enjoyed this. And I will say, it wouldn't be one of my go-to Nick Cage movies. No hard feelings on this, but it wouldn't be one of those films I would go to first or anything like that. You get what I'm saying, but yeah, just overall, I mean, I really enjoyed The Family Man for what it is. Glad to finally have watched it, and here we are now, and for our review and such. But yeah, but my dad here, I mean, he's seen it before, and he has full good memory of it, so, but all right. Now the floor is yours. What are the first things you have to say about The Family Man? Your first thoughts, etc.
Well, it's all about perspective, isn't it? I mean, the movie itself delves into an alternate reality where Jack Campbell, the main character, is he's basically a power broker. He works on Wall Street. He's an investment broker.
Wall Street, New York.
He is absolutely at the top of his game, multi-millionaire, heads up the firm, and works unbelievable hours. I mean, probably 16-hour days in most cases.
But your first thoughts and such about the movie itself, because, you know.
And I'm getting to that.
Okay.
The whole point of it is that his life changes completely and drastically in this movie. And it's basically a lesson he's being taught, that the things he thinks are important are not as important as they really are, as they really seem.
Mm-hmm.
So much as was the case with It's a Wonderful Life, where the main character is plunged into an alternate reality and has to endure seeing people that he knows who don't know him because he was never born. This is similar,
but still done differently.
Still done differently. He doesn't have the life that he had before. He has a different life with Kate, his girlfriend that he was madly in love with
in college,
and left her in order to pursue his career, and went to England, went to London to pursue his career.
Yep.
And
okay.
So that's where it is. It just makes you think. It's one of those movies that makes you think and puts things into perspective about what's really important in life.
Yeah.
That's
okay, but
that's my 2 cents.
Are you going to get to your first thoughts and such on this? Because how many times have you joined me for these reviews?
Well, that is my first thoughts. I mean,
the movie itself, because
well, the movie itself is really
your
really
first
good.
like the first time you saw it and what you thought of it. Just like how many times have you joined me for these? Come on,
I've seen this movie.
You should know this by now.
Probably 4 or 5 times, and I can tell you that it left a big impression on me the first time I saw it. There's one point in the movie where I choked up and I was in tears. We'll come to that later.
Yes.
But it was, overall, the movie it landed on me exactly the way it was supposed to. Mm-hmm. So there's my first impressions of the movie.
Yeah. And would this be, like, what I said, like, I mean, would this be one of your go-to Nick Cage films or not really?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay.
Definitely would.
Well, again, it's not that I no hard feelings on it. Again, for me, it's just like, I don't know, because some of the other ones that I've enjoyed, they would be my first go-tos, from National Treasure and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
Who doesn't love National Treasure? They're great movies.
Yeah.
But this one was really different.
Of course it was.
And it was one that, and I don't know if you know this or not, but Nicolas Cage he plays Jesus in a movie. It's called The Carpenter's Son. And it's controversial because it delves into Christ's life prior to his adulthood, when the Gospels in the Bible started to record his missionary work, his life, of healing and miracles, and his life up to the point when he was crucified.
Yeah.
So this goes back to when he was a young man and the things he went through. So it's really controversial. I have a feeling it's not exactly going to be a movie that a lot of people who go to church on a regular basis are going to appreciate. So anyway, but Nicolas Cage he's a very wide and diverse actor. Mm-hmm. He's got serious acting chops.
Oh yes,
and we know that he is the nephew of Francis Ford Coppola.
Yep, we know that.
And he changed his name because he didn't want it to appear that he was, trying to ride the coattails of his uncle's name.
Yeah.
To get into show business.
Being very respectful and all that.
He did it on his own, and
rightfully
so, I think.
His official name suits him.
Yeah, Nick Cage. I do.
Nicolas Cage, but going by the nickname Nick Cage.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, but and also, like, one more thing. When you view this movie being in, I guess, like, top favorite Nick Cage films?
Yeah, one of my probably my top favorite. Yes.
Okay. Mine too, somewhere. Maybe in top 10. But...
And I will say this: I have to be in the mood to watch this movie because it's very.
Me too.
It's very emotional. It really will.
We have to be in the right mood on certain films like this one.
It will drain you emotionally.
It didn't drain me the first time I watched it.
Well, I think it can.
I mean, obviously, I understand, and I could feel the impact that happens in movies like this.
Yeah.
But even if you don't get tear jerk or anything like that, you do sometimes.
I do. Yep, I sure do.
Okay.
I've been known to cry over commercials and Hallmark films and.
Okay. All right. So, with the first things we've had to say about The Family Man done and out of the way. Now, as always, from us, read the description / the story, and by all means, since you're here, you can do it.
The film synopsis, Jack's lavish, fast-paced lifestyle changes one Christmas night when he stumbles into a grocery store holdup and disarms the gunman. The next morning, he wakes up in bed, lying next to Kate, his college sweetheart he left in order to pursue his career, and to the horrifying discovery that his former life no longer exists. As he stumbles through this alternate suburban universe, Jack finds himself at a crossroads where he must choose between his high-power career and the woman he loves.
Yes. All right, so now with reading the description / the story out of the way, well, let us now dive in / break down the film itself. Obviously, we've got to start with the opening.
Yes.
Because it does take place in 87. So.
Right. So he is, we see him in his apartment. He is...
well, no, because like at the airport, remember? Because...
Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, we see that, because Jack Campbell is about to board the airplane, as you said, and head to London to, as you said...
Yeah.
Start his career.
To advance his career, as an investment broker.
Yes. And even Kate and his college girlfriend at the start, Kate Reynolds, being played by Tia Leone.
Tia Leone.
Yeah. Whom, by the way, just 1 year after being in The Family Man, she would wound up in another Universal Pictures film, which being the third Jurassic Park film. Mm-hmm. One of my favorites of the Jurassic Park films. But she's done more than that, of course. And not to mention that Kate is going to become a lawyer, supposedly. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And according to Jack, because she's going to be going to the best, school? Becoming a lawyer and such? The best place to become a lawyer? Yep. But Kate, she feels that... as much as she's appreciative for what each of them are going to do, she just doesn't feel it, and when she doesn't want both of them to be away from each other.
Right. And,
to her, all that matters is both of them.
Exactly.
But, and Jack, it's not that he intentionally does this, but, he feels that, they'll still be together. 1 year's not going to hurt. But little did he realize that it wasn't going to be for 1 year. Because when he leaves, and technically that was the last they see one another, 13 years pass. It was more than just 1 year.
Yes. 13 years pass. She is an attorney, now an accomplished attorney, we find out later. And of course, Jack Campbell, Nick Cage's character, is a very successful and highly accomplished investment broker.
Mm-hmm. Wall Street, New York.
Exactly. So drives a Ferrari. He's got a beautiful apartment, and we see him in that apartment.
And a girlfriend he has.
Well, it's not
kind
really
of
kind of a girlfriend.
Paula, right? Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Paula being played by Amber
Villeda.
Villeda, thank you.
I thought, at first I thought she was a prostitute, but I guess not.
No, I think it would be obvious. There would be signs, but the fact that Paula, she couldn't come back to his apartment since she had to visit her family for Christmas.
Right. So
because right now, where we're at now, it takes place on Christmas Eve. So
exactly. So she's at first she is going to, she's going to her parents in New Jersey to visit, and so he goes out. He goes out to the store. To pick something up.
Yeah, but even before that, he meets with his fellow businessmen.
Yes.
Because they're about to do a merger.
Right, and it's Christmas time, but he doesn't care. It's the money is the most important thing. This merger, overseeing this merger, getting the money, because he tells them, when they're kind of saying, and I think it was Alan Mintz. It's Saul Rubinak's character, and I love him as an actor.
Oh yeah, but, we all do.
His character Alan Mintz is like, it's Christmas, and he says, "Hey, we get this deal." He says it'll be Christmas here all year round.
So I guess in some ways Jack is kind of acting like a Scrooge.
Well, kind of.
Maybe not fully, not 100% like Scrooge.
He's just not. Christmas is just not important to him. What's important to him is getting the deal. That's what's important to him. So, he wants to get this deal.
From his point of view and how very close they're making good progress with this deal.
Exactly.
And even when he says it'll go down history because of this deal they're going to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, another, he's a top guy in the business, Peter Lassiter.
Yeah.
Yeah, being played by Joseph Sommer.
Yep.
Yeah, what's say on his character?
His character was, he was kind of, Peter Lassiter was he was higher up than Jack. He was he was pretty much Jack's boss. But
yes,
he was impressed with Jack, what a hard worker he was, and he just put his nose to the grindstone and just worked. But at the same time, there was this side of him, I think, that saw that he needs to really get a life. I got that sense from his character anyway.
From Peter's character?
Yeah, Peter Lassiter, that character. He seemed to me,
right.
he was proud of Jack, but there was something about him that you just felt like
So some goodness to come from Peter.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, but then coming up to what you were saying, like you were going to talk about when he goes to a convenience store. You know?
Yeah, he goes into the convenience store, and there's a guy by the name
He was
of
going to get some eggnog.
yeah, Cash.
Played by
Don
good old Don Cheadle, the future War Machine.
Right, and
Oh, not to
played-
mention that both Don Cheadle and Nick Cage, they would find themselves years later in the world of Marvel Comics.
and played an excellent, I might add, Sammy Davis Jr. in a movie about Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin.
Oh, yeah.
and he was fantastic in that. That's the first time I actually saw him in anything.
As who he was portraying.
Portraying Sammy Davis Jr. Yeah, but
That was a good way. That was a good way for you to be first introduced to Don Cheadle and what would come next for Don Cheadle.
exactly. So Don Cheadle's character named
Cash.
is trying to get a lottery ticket.
Yeah,
cashed out.
trying to give it to the guys at the front desk.
And they're not. They're just not.
they want no part of it. Just,
No, the guy. So he pulls a gun,
Yep.
and Nick Cage steps in.
Yeah, Jack, he's risking it. He
is.
I mean, just trying to find a way to resolve this, and having a gun will not help this situation.
Right. So he
It's not the solution. That is.
he tries to. He negotiates.
Offer to-
He negotiates with him to buy his lottery ticket.
Yep.
To give him money. Say, hey, you walk away. Everybody walks away. You've got money. However, he worked that deal out.
Yeah. Even with Cash, he was this close. Do you want to die?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so finally, when they make the deal and they walk out, he's trying. Nick Cage's character is trying to is trying to help him. You can get help. You need help. And Cash just starts laughing at him. He says, "Are you trying to save me?" Because really, what he is he's an angel. And he is doing this
Little did Jack realize,
He was
and us, the audience, actually at first.
because he is there when he hears Jack talking the way he's talking. He decides to teach him a lesson, but the lesson he teaches him is worth more than any money he would ever have in his life.
Yeah,
And you find that out as the movie.
and even
Unfolds.
Cash gave Jack the heads up. You got yourself into this.
Yeah, you got yourself into this, and
Got into what? Because he doesn't know that, and us, the audience, we don't fully realize, especially for anybody who watches this the first time, we have no clue what's going to happen next, on account of Cash.
he goes back to his apartment and he falls asleep.
Yeah.
And when he wakes up, he's
not in his apartment. He's not in the big city.
He is in a home in the suburbs,
Suburbs of New York.
very much middle class, has kids, and
He's got 2 kids, and he's right there with Kate.
and he is freaked out, completely freaked out, as anybody would be. You wake up in that situation and you're like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Where am I?
Exactly.
What happened to my life? And he is in a completely different situation. He is a family man now.
Yes, he is.
Take it from there.
Yeah, I mean, also the kids. You remember the kids' names, right?
Yeah, I'm trying. Well,
I'm trying to pull them up right here, because, no, they're down, they're up further. But, yeah, because, he wakes up and he finds himself, in an alternate reality. This isn't his life, and he just scattering, and he just gets his clothes on. Then he, oh, it's right there. Okay, right there, yeah, because Annie being played by young Mackenzie Vega, and baby Josh was actually played by, movies have sometimes do this. They'll have twins play the one character.
Jake Milkovich and Ryan Milkovich.
Yes, they both played Josh Campbell.
Yeah, that's
baby Josh Campbell. So waking up to see, that he has 2 kids. There's a dog. I actually saw the dog, Lucy. And he's right there with Kate. And then because when he makes his way downstairs, well, he meets with Big Ed and Adele. Big Ed played by Harv Presnell, and Adele played by Mary Beth Hurt, and just asking where's my Ferrari, yeah, and but not a Ferrari. Instead, he takes Big Ed's car.
Cadillac, yeah.
Then Cadillac. Then he makes his way into town, and nobody recognizes him. Like the doorman, Tony the doorman, played by Tony F.
John F.
O'Donoghue.
O'Donoghue.
Yes,
he's completely
And Lorraine, Mrs. Lorraine, played by Francine York. Yeah.
Jack is completely disoriented. He thinks he's going to go back to his apartment, get inside, and he doesn't even realize that he is in an alternate life.
And he thinks at first that Miss Lorraine and Tony they're crazy, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And he's
even when he attempts to get Tony fired, and even when he goes to the main building he works at, and Frank the security man, played by Daniel Whitner, and like, you know, I'm Jack, you know, I'm the head and such, but
exactly.
It's not him, because it turns out to be one of his co-workers, Alan. He's in this reality, he's taking Jack's place.
Yeah, Alan Mintz has taken Jack's place. But you also note, too, that he is a family man himself. You note that when later on in the movie, when we see him in the office and you see kids' toys in his office, and he's very much, he has a work-life balance, which Jack did not have. And practically didn't want his employees to have a work-life balance. He just wanted it to be work all the time.
No, exactly. And then when Cash shows up, you want to take it from here, what Cash does when he shows up?
Yeah, Cash shows up driving his Ferrari, dressed up, you know, and looking all slick and everything. He gets Jack in the car.
Has him breathe through a bag.
Yeah, because he's hyperventilating.
Exactly.
And he's
can you blame Jack, really?
No, you can't. But they get in the car, and he's telling Jack, you know, what's going on. You know, basically, you know, you brought this on yourself, and blah blah blah.
And also with the word glimpse.
Yes, a glimpse of a life you could have had. Basically.
Exactly.
And you know, Jack's just not interested. He just wants his old life back. He wants to go back to being a bachelor and a power broker in New York, and driving his Ferrari. And now he sees Cash driving his Ferrari, and he's completely in reverse, and he's just freaked out. And so he's trying to get, you know, so the funny part is that Jack's trying to negotiate with him, and he's giving in. You know, he says, okay, I'm gonna pull over. We'll get out and we'll talk about this.
We'll walk and talk.
Yeah, and so Jack gets out and he takes off.
I had a feeling that was gonna happen.
I knew it was gonna happen. I knew that's what was gonna happen.
Yeah. Psych!
Yeah. And so, yeah.
And that's the last we see of Cash for now.
Yeah.
Now Jack's all by himself, and he's gonna find out and learn as the days proceed, even after Christmas.
Yep, exactly right.
And, well, he would try to make his way back home, then he would meet a friend of his, Arnie, played by Jeremy Piven.
Yeah, and I've seen him act. He's a good actor. And Arnie was his character was really good.
Loyal friend to Jack.
Oh, absolutely, best friends. They were the best of friends. And you know, it was interesting, those dynamics, how they played out through the movie, because in a way Arnie was his conscience in a way. You know, he would set him straight on things.
We all need a friend like that.
Yeah, we do. So he was a very good friend to Jack in this movie.
Yes. And even like, because when Arnie is showing him like how lucky he is to have this life, and the 2-story like house and a couple bathrooms and all that.
Yeah. Even
when Arnie shares some advice that Jack had shared to him. I'm sure you recall.
Yes. And I was thinking of Big Ed, because Big Ed in what had happened.
He is like what, the father-in-law of
Jack? He's Jack's father-in-law.
Because I had a feeling Big Ed is the dad of Kate.
Right, and he owns Big Ed's tire store. You know, it's a big tire store. So Jack left his career.
In this reality, he's working
at an
at
investment broker. He left his career behind to be the manager for Big Ed's tire.
Especially, it would be mentioned by Kate that this also had to do with Jack's after having saved Big Ed from like a heart attack or something.
Yeah, and he
something to do with a heart attack.
Yeah, Big Ed had a heart attack. He could no longer manage, and so Jack stepped in to take over for him and to manage the store.
There we go.
And so that's where he is. He's stuck basically in that position.
Yep. But yeah, the fact that Jack, after leaving town, left the house, and he had been gone for 6 hours, like he missed a lot on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Oh, not to mention that Cash lended him something. It was a bell.
Yes.
Which the bell would then go to his little daughter's bicycle.
Yep. And he said, "That's my bell." You know, it's like
she took my bell.
But I think what was funny is his daughter, you know, Annie comes up to
Yes,
him and she
because-
says she says, "Are you an alien?
You're not my dad, are you?
You're not my dad. You're an alien."
And
she
he
thinks
goes
he's an
along. He goes along with this.
alien. He does. But
I guess that's one best way to put at it.
the relationship that develops between those two
Oh,
is
yes.
just incredible. And that's really the point. There was a point in that movie, and we'll get to it, I know, but it's when I was in tears. I was in tears, almost ugly crying, because it was the scene. It was amazing. So. Anyway.
Okay, but yeah, like I said, he missed out a lot. But well, then like what to talk next? Because with what else goes on with him by this point?
Well, there's Kate has some friends.
They do go to a Christmas party actually,
and they have friends, and the character, I think her name in the movie is Evelyn.
Evelyn Thompson, played by Lisa Thornhill.
Evelyn has the hots for Jack.
She does.
She's very attractive.
Jack doesn't realize it yet.
He starts figuring it out.
Yes, he does, exactly.
And then he goes to Arnie at a certain point. I think they're bowling.
Yeah, at one point they're bowling, and Evelyn just so happens to be there.
And he tells Arnie that he's planning an affair. And Arnie,
even when he tries to explain to Arnie, it's not really actually cheating, like.
Well, I know, but he's planning to. He's planning to have an affair with her. Behind his wife's back, and she wants me.
Arnie lets him have it. Sets him straight. What the hell are you doing?
He gives him what for, and I loved it. And that's where I say that he is like
this is why we need friends like these.
He is his
all the
conscience,
time.
because you don't need friends to go along with you. You need friends to tell you if you're making a mistake. True friends will tell you are making a mistake.
Yes.
And in this case, he tells him he's making a mistake, and he sets him straight.
And he ends up not doing it.
Right.
No. And other things that happen, like with him and Kate, because even when he learns about what's going on, when Alan has taken his place and making that deal or something.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's not pleased with it.
No.
But then that would be interrupted when, say, Kate is in the mood, and now that the kids are asleep, wanting to make love with him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he actually doesn't end up doing so.
Right. Well, the interesting thing was how we get into this. As we get into this, Jack's boss shows up at the tire store.
Yes, he does.
He's got a busted tire, and he's driving a Rolls Royce.
Yep,
and
Peter Lassiter.
Jack still he has retained his memories from his previous life. It's not like
of course he would.
He was put into this position, this alternate life, and has forgotten everything that happened in his other life.
Exactly.
He knows.
Yeah.
He remembers everything. So
yes. Because we mentioned earlier, It's a Wonderful Life. Even George, he remembers everything. So
he brings his old boss into his Peter Lassiter into his office and starts talking to him. And Peter Lassiter's so impressed with him.
The kind of talk that Jack says,
because he's very knowledgeable. He knows the markets. He knows their line of business.
Yes,
and Jack lands himself an interview. And then when
meeting with Alan,
Alan is very resentful, and he feels threatened.
Yes,
because he sees that Jack really knows more than he does.
Yeah,
and he feels very threatened by this. So
even telling him to you stay away from Peter.
Yeah, he's
you've changed.
He takes him aside. You've got a backbone, or however he puts it.
Jack just finds this amusing.
Yeah, he's so amazed that he has this. He has this gumption now. He has this.
He's got the guts.
He's got guts to say these things, and so
because apparently he didn't.
So Jack goes back to Kate, and he's got this deal. He's got an executive apartment in New York City now.
Even before that, there was one moment where he tried to buy an expensive jacket.
It's an expensive suit that he tries to buy.
Yeah,
and that's really uncomfortable. That scene is very uncomfortable to watch for me because he embarrasses himself in front of the salesperson because his wife comes up and she said, "We can't afford this."
When I was watching this, it didn't make me uncomfortable because I know, we all know, because
yeah, I know, but it's just the way it plays out. He embarrasses himself in front of his wife, in front of his kids, in front of in front of the salesperson, and because he doesn't have the money to get it, because it's probably a $3,000.
$200 actually.
200.
Yeah, the number 2 being in there.
It'd be a $2,000 suit. Then.
Right.
which was probably a Thomas Ford or an Armani or something like that.
I mean, eventually, even after all that, it does settle down, even when
Yeah.
they're talking some in the car. And what it leads to Jack, discovering, like, how he got into Big Ed's business.
Right.
Yeah, that too, so...
Exactly. So it was interesting to see that dynamic play out between how, what Alan Mintz's character, the character of Alan Mintz, played again by Saul Rubinek, is changes. He's more aggressive. But he's also feels threatened by Jack. So
Yep.
Jack takes Kate to this apartment, shows her, tells her it's theirs, and they can. And Kate is she's just overwhelmed because he's come at her with this, just from almost out of the blue. Mm-hmm. And she finally is like, if this is what you want.
But stop right there, because we're jumping off point, because, like, we have to, of course, acknowledge when their anniversary comes up.
Yes.
Yes, because that came in before this that we're talking about
Yes,
now.
yes, you're right.
Because
Go ahead
when
with
it
that.
came to the anniversary, she surprised Jack with a gift that something to do with a jacket or something, a suit.
She bought him a knockoff, a suit that was a knockoff of the brand. That
Not
he
the
was looking
actual
at.
thing.
Not the actual thing.
Something that was
It
very
a-
close.
It was a cheaper version, but she got it for him.
Yes. And what did he get? Well, he didn't know it was coming up. But that's when, and even actually when he gets some help from his daughter. And what would happen is they would go to a very nice, expensive restaurant in downtown.
Yeah, New York.
Yep. And at least, like, because, the items they were going for on the menu, and they were going to go for, like, a 800, like, bottle of wine or something.
$800 bottle of wine.
But then they just stuck with red wine. Okay, that's enough. So,
yeah.
at least red wine won't hurt for them. And then, like, at one point they dance.
And did I not catch their server? Was he not kind of he kind of looked down his nose at him, when they chose this plain red wine instead of this $800 bottle.
I guess so.
Yeah, I kind of gathered that. And he probably got a commission off that. That's probably why he got upset, or not upset, but was cross because they didn't end up getting it for dinner.
Yeah, but then Jack would then afterwards Jack would share to Kate while at the restaurant about the whole thing of the alternate reality and
yes,
such.
Exactly.
You can take it from there if you like, because
no, it's just go ahead, because it's
no, because I mean he goes into full detail, like the way he puts at it, and I mean even Kate, she takes this well, I guess. But at least things would still get better when then they stay at a hotel with a nice view, that arch that's in New York. And that's when, things are good now for Jack. Like, he managed to clear things up with what happened before, upsetting Kate.
Yes.
It's all good now.
right.
By the way, because to talk more about the kids, because God, do you have anything to say? Because, like, the part where he has to change the diaper, it's a Tuesday.
It's hilarious because he's all,
Of course.
he's gagging,
And they even show a glimpse of it. Good Lord.
I know, it was funny.
And his daughter has to, Annie has to point where it has to go.
Right, exactly. And it made me laugh because I got to be I was a diaper changing pro, man, when you were a baby. I could change a diaper just like that. Didn't bother me. It just did, because it was it was you. It was when you're a child, you don't pay any attention to it. But for Jack,
Are you sure? Because you didn't have any reaction, like.
no, never did. It just
Well, that's good on you.
It never bothered me. I regret to say that you never. They say that a father never really truly becomes a father until he joins the exclusive club when his son pees on him. You never did that, and I was kind of disappointed that you never did that. Peed on me. You did your mommy, but you didn't on me. I guess maybe because I was more careful. I don't know.
Probably.
Because you take the diaper off, it's just a stream.
I don't think it matters, like joining a club thing. I don't think what's with that. 'Cause...
Oh, I heard Bob Newhart say that one time, that you become an exclusive club member in fatherhood when your son officially goes to the bathroom on you.
Yes.
And that's I thought that was fun.
At least Jack handled that well, kind of when Josh peed. So
Right. And I may be the only dad that's never been peed on by their son. I don't know.
May not be.
Because everybody I've ever talked to, I've been peed on, like in the face or on the shirt, whatever. But never happened to me.
All right, but back on point where we were, because when he would surprise Kate with this fancy apartment,
Yeah.
And, Kate, she's not really sure about this and was hoping that the house that they live in, they would still be living in it, even when they became grandparents.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was.
And I think it's obvious that Jack, he did have to take some time to think about this. Also, when further on, like even when earlier, because he wasn't making good progress, and he didn't say the right words to Kate at one point when he said, you're naughty and you're making me hot and such. Those were not the words she was really looking for.
No, he kind of.
You know what I'm talking about.
He messed up.
Yeah.
He messed up on that one big time.
He did. And even when he had to look at some home videos.
Yeah. He just. He kind of, he botched that one pretty good.
He did. But back on point, because again, he obviously had to give some thought of it, and that's when, like, say, the next day, back at the house, because Kate wakes up and hears the sounds of Jack and Annie playing out in the snow.
Yeah. And this is what Jack is playing with her, and she smiles.
Yeah.
She says, "You're back." And
exactly.
That was a moment. That wasn't the moment for me.
I was wondering. Okay, but it's coming up.
It's coming up, and I'm telling you, it's to me it was a doozy. So
yeah. I think by this point, even after that, because we would.
You may be surprised when I tell you what.
I think I have a good idea what it is.
Okay.
All right, but I think by this point, because then we would come up to where Jack would encounter Cash once again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what say on that?
Go ahead.
All right, Jack. Jack, because when he's at his convenience store again, he would just so happen to see Cash at the front desk at the counter, and he would confront Cash that it's not Cash's business to interfering with people's lives and all that.
Right.
But once again, Cash telling him that this being a glimpse and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And basically, time's running out for Jack.
Yep. And that's really the sad part, because
even when he took out the dog once more, and
that's what that part when he's standing out there with the dog and it's snowing, and he's just taking it all in, But what's even sadder to me is when he goes,
accompanied with Danny Elfman's emotional score.
Yeah, and when he goes back home and he's in the bedroom with Kate, he is fighting sleep because he knows.
Before that, because he gets one last look at his son, then has one last conversation with Annie. They're gonna, I'm gonna be taken back into outer space. How he puts at it.
Yeah.
He's gonna be departing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when he's with Kate, because he wants Kate to promise to remember this and all that.
Yeah.
Have her promise twice, which she does so. And because when we see him at the chair. He's not in bed, but she is. And we can see he's trying to but how can anybody? Eventually, he
eventually nods off and goes to
he
sleep.
Falls asleep,
And then he wakes up back in his apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And
that glimpse was over.
And that's where he is just, now he knows that that's not the life he wants. He wants the life. He wants that glimpse. He wants that life that he had.
He wants it to be more than just a glimpse.
Exactly. He wants it to become reality.
So that's the part that got you.
No, not yet.
Okay. I see. I think I get now.
A little farther down the line.
I get now what you're talking about.
Get to it. We'll get to
I was thinking at first, it's not somewhere there on account of the kids and Kate. No, it's further on. Okay,
yeah.
Because even when say Jack, he gets out and even he passes by Paula who shows up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And even when he heads back to that small part of New York,
Mm-hmm.
the suburban place.
In his Ferrari.
Yes.
Pulls up, sees Arnie.
Well, no, Arnie's not there. No, it's a completely different person that's living in that house.
Yeah, but I thought that he saw Arnie. Mm-mm. I thought that Arnie was there in the neighborhood.
No, he wasn't.
Okay.
No, I know if I'd seen Arnie there.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure. Though, yeah, because after he went to that house, that gentleman that was living in that house, and mentioning of a Kate not living there, and he heads back to he leaves, and then he would be called up at the office and such, and because being informed that he's late, because of the business meeting and such.
Right.
And anything to say on that, the business meeting and what happens there?
It was interesting that he was late for that meeting and rushed in, but it was just go ahead and take it from there because it was just an interesting scene.
Yeah. All right, because yeah, because I mean, like how he puts at it, and like he plans to like be by himself and skiing and all that. Just he doesn't feel it in him like he was like yesterday.
Exactly.
Because he's become a completely different man.
Yeah.
At least like from Alan and the others, they seem to handle it well, I guess. But then, I mean, in fact, he's supposed to like go to the airplane, head to someplace. Yeah. But he's not going to.
I think Aspen, Colorado is where he was going because the main player in this merger is skiing.
Yes.
And he's going to spend Christmas skiing, and work on negotiations and talking him back into this merger.
Yes.
Or talking him through it, I think.
And yeah. And there was at one point, and when on Christmas Eve, like, he was informed by his secretary or something like that Kate Reynolds was wanting to call him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, he eventually does get the number and meets with Kate somewhere in New York. And she's become a big-time lawyer and such. And she's planning on moving to France. And, like, the interactions between them, and because they hadn't seen each other in 13 years, she seems to be doing okay. And she was upset at first, but she got over it, very soon. Well, Jack, he wants to have a coffee with her, but, because with the time and such that she's on and she has to get going, like, she even suggests to Jack, very nice of her, to say that, look me up at France and we can get a coffee there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But Jack, because, well, he's not stopping there. Because at one point he would dash in his Ferrari to the airport to try and, stop her once again, because now the wheels have turned,
Yeah. It's completely turned around.
Now it's Jack going after Kate, telling her not to get on the airplane.
She's taken a job at a big law firm in Paris, France.
Yes.
And she's a highly successful attorney. Of course, he's a highly successful
business guy,
business broker, investment broker. So now he is.
But now he doesn't care for that.
No, now he is desperate to keep Kate from leaving, because he knows what happened 13 years ago. He left foolishly and left their life,
even though he didn't realize
possible
it.
Life behind. Yes, exactly. And she's more dismissive of him at first. She's just like,
do you need closure?
Do you need closure? And that really makes you feel kind of empty because you're like, oh my gosh, he's really not going to get a chance with her.
Because it's not the Kate that he knew back in 1987.
No, it's not.
And whom we first knew, even in that alternate reality.
But he's trying to talk her into taking another flight, just staying long enough to talk.
Even when he mentions about their kids, the house they live in, all of that.
She's getting on the plane. He is so desperate. He's like, he names their kids. He says, he names Annie and he names Josh. And here's the part that got me.
Yeah, this long speech he gives.
When I saw this in the movie theater,
proceed with what you have to say.
Just this one line when he looks at her and the look on his face, he says, and when she smiles. That was it. I lost it because it is true.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It is so true. When you see when you were a baby, you could melt me with your smile. I mean, and your laugh. I mean, it just it melted me. It melts any parent. So when he's explaining this, he finally gets through to her when he's saying this because she sees that he's lived this. He's not crazy. This has happened to him. And he wins her over, at least long enough. You don't really know what happens. You have to assume at the end that they do.
The last thing we see is them actually having coffee.
And they're having a conversation in the airport.
And the credits start to roll.
And you don't know what they're talking about.
No.
But you feel like they're talking about getting back together to make a life with each other.
Which, and more likely, that's what this is. That's what's going to lead to.
Because Jack is desperate to win her over, and to make up for lost time. Desperate, and you see that, and it's gut wrenching to watch that scene play out.
Yes,
because you don't really know if you've never seen the movie. You don't really know what's going to happen. You don't know whether or not he's going to be able to win her over because it seems like she's just aloof. Like what she says. Do you need closure? I mean, she's She's
probably
busy. She's getting packed up to go to Paris.
That probably would have been something that Jack said all those years ago, kind of. So
Exactly.
But like I said, the wheels have turned, and now it's Kate and Jack being the desperate one.
Well, if you recall early in the movie, before Cash put him into this alternate reality, he got a call from Kate.
Yeah, I did bring that up.
And it was because she
wanted to reach out to him
and give him some things that she found that belonged to him.
Yes, that too.
And that's when he went there.
He didn't know. He didn't realize and just thought that probably was something different.
Yeah, but then when he comes back from this alternate life, he's like, "Oh my gosh, I've got to reach out to her. She reached out to me. I've got to reach out to her." But he has no idea what it's about.
No, it was the stuff, his belongings,
and that was another thing. His Peter Lassiter, if I'm recalling correctly, his boss, Peter Lassiter, he made a comment, or maybe it was just a look, when he found out that Kate was his ex-girlfriend, and he just like, it was almost to me, if I'm remembering correctly, that he was kind of looking at Jack almost with pity, like, you need to get yourself a life, man. I mean, that's the way it seemed to me. I could be completely wrong on that. It was somebody in that scene. It was either his secretary.
Yeah, I would say secretary.
Because maybe Peter Lassiter was the one who.
Well,
was
the
just
secretary.
like, that's my boy.
Yeah, secretary. Well, the secretary's like, you married, like,
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what happened.
Anyway.
But yeah, I mean, because like you said, because the way that, because at the end of that long, well put speech that Jack says, and the way he delivers that one word, and the look on his face, just again, that gets you.
It does.
I was thinking of this, like, I do recall, another thing I'm thinking of right now that I know gets you is, like, in one episode of Andy Griffith, a look on Andy's face, looking down at his son Opie.
Yeah, it's called.
You know what I'm talking about.
It's called. I think the name of the episode is called "The Bully," and it's actually the first episode in season 2, if I'm not mistaken. And it's of the Andy Griffith Show, and it's when Opie is Andy, and Andy knows that there's a bully that's taking his milk money from him, and Opie's afraid of him. He's a bully, so a lot of times bullies will make you afraid. But Andy tells him a story about how he faced down a bully once, and so when the morning comes that he has to face the bully, Andy looks at him and he hugs him, picks him up and hugs him, and that's gut-wrenching in itself when he picks him up and hugs him, because he's sending his son into battle. I mean, really, that's what's happening, because he knows he's going to have to fight.
Yeah.
So when he sets him down, it's like he looks at him and he gives this look. He gives him this look that is just a very, like you go do what you have to do, and you'll be, and you'll be better off for it. That's the look it was. It was this look of, what you need to do, now go do it. And that was gut-wrenching, because any parent, if they have to do what's right for the child, and in some cases that means you have to teach them. They have to confront their bullies in life, or they'll get run over, throughout their life. Anyway.
Right. So I just thought I'd bring that up, because that's what popped my head, because when you were talking about, like, that look on Nick Cage's face and that line he delivers. Yeah,
it's the look. It's the look in his eye, because he is seeing it as he is saying it to her. That and when she smiles, she
managed to see that.
Yeah, exactly. She did.
She was convinced,
and I think that is what convinced her when he is talking in detail about their kids.
Yes.
And
you think he'd be like he ain't saying that for nothing.
Oh no.
It's coming from the heart.
Yeah, totally from the heart, and she knows it.
Yeah.
So overall, wonderful movie.
Overall, because our final, that's our movie, and our final thoughts and words. We'll start with you.
Again,
don't do the rating yet. Just start with words, final thoughts and words.
Perspective. It's all about perspective. How we get into a life, and it's basically it kind of teaches you to stop and smell the roses.
Yes.
Jack Campbell he's a power broker. He works constantly. He's highly successful, but he doesn't. He's missing life. He's missing life, and that's what Cash shows him. That, you know, you're missing life. You missed out on a life that you could have had, and this is what it could have looked like. And even though it wasn't at first to his liking, because you remember at one point he's looking through the closet trying to find clothes, and he's just like, oh my gosh, the clothes that he has is just nothing like what he would wear, you know. They're just like cheap Walmart clothes or something, you know. He has to choose this when they go to the Christmas party. He has to try and pick out an outfit that he can wear that's going to look nice, you know.
Well, on account of this Christmas party, that doesn't matter. So, yeah.
But it still, it shows that he's just been hit in the face with this. You know, it's like getting hit in the face with cold water. It's this. He's in this alternate reality that's not his life, and he doesn't have the life he had. But then when he goes back to his regular life, he doesn't want that life anymore. He's realized he wants the life he had.
Yeah.
And I think, and that's what Cash was showing him. That's because Cash knew that deep down that's what would happen. That he would realize in his heart that where he was in his life, he was not happy.
No.
He was not fulfilled. He was empty.
Yeah. You realize this, like, I feel like mentioning this because, like, you realize, like, the difference between, like, you know, Cash and, I'm blanking on his name now, you know, the angel from It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, because Clarence.
Yes, exactly.
Well, here's the thing. Clarence just being so politeful and all that, but for Cash, like, man, like, the dude had a gun.
Yeah.
So the total opposite of Clarence.
Well,
but still, I mean, he was a good angel.
Well,
so.
but he wasn't going to use the gun. He just used it to scare Jack and to scare, just for that scene to play out. He had to get Jack's attention. That's why he used the gun.
Yeah.
Probably the thing didn't even have bullets in it. So.
No. But yeah, I'm just saying, like, that's something that probably Clarence wouldn't have done. So.
No. Clarence was a very polite angel.
And the way that movie was done is before the Family Man's time. So
George Bailey was kind of there's similarities to George Bailey's life and
Jack Campbell's
life.
Mm-hmm. Well, like we said earlier, because
successful. He wasn't a millionaire.
These two films have a lot in common, but they're still different from one another.
They are very different, but
go ahead.
There's still a commonality that they share. And
yes,
it gives them both these characters get a glimpse of an alternate life, how their life could have been. In Jack's case, it's the life he could have had, but he chose the wrong path.
But for George Bailey, well, he has the life that to him
he already has a life.
That's going pretty good. But then at a certain point,
exactly. But he doesn't understand what he has, and he thinks he's you know, by the time he comes back,
he thinks he's better off.
He thinks he's better off dead. He thinks everybody else would be better off if he'd never been born.
And if he hadn't existed.
Exactly.
That whole thing.
That's the whole lesson that Clarence teaches him, that you did matter. You do matter. And
if you had not been in those people's lives, then she's Louise, you know.
Yeah, there was a lot of things that were different. And it makes you wonder.
Yeah.
If you have things that happen in your life, you know, you wonder, if you hadn't been born, how would life be?
Exactly.
How would life be with the people that you've touched in life, that you have in life? And you know, it's like, I think
anybody ever has, you know, to anybody who ever has that feeling, well, I'd say It's a Wonderful Life gives you that answer.
So the one thing that I've always wondered about, and it made me think that your Papa Blue.
Yes,
my
grandfather.
My dad, his nickname was Blue.
Mm-hmm.
His God-given name was Thomas. But my dad.
Why else, guys, do you think the channel has Blue in it?
Yeah, Little Blue. I was called Little Blue growing up.
But overall, your point being.
So my point being that your Papa Blue, he was in the Marine Corps in World War II. He served in World War II in the third Amphibs, and his platoon went to Iwo Jima. And Dad did not go because he had to be sent to a facility because he was malnourished.
Yeah.
And he was unable, so they deemed him, and he was honorably discharged, but they had to send him to a place to get his strength back, to get his, because he had been at Guadalcanal, he'd been in the Pacific, and
Yeah.
He suffered from, he had malaria, and he suffered from malnourishment. So he did not go to Iwo Jima with the rest of his platoon. But most of his platoon, from what I understand, were wiped out at Iwo Jima. So if Dad had gone, and I remember this conversation between Dad and one of his brothers, my Uncle John, and Uncle John said, "You could have been killed." And Dad said, "Yeah, could have been killed if I had gone, because most of my platoon was wiped out in that battle." And then I started thinking, if Dad had been killed, if he had gone to Iwo Jima and been killed, I would never have been born. You would never have been born.
And we both wouldn't be here.
We wouldn't be here. There wouldn't be a Little Blue Channel. There would be a lot of things.
Yes.
So it makes you think. Those kind of movies make you think about what if, what if, So anyway.
And the what ifs that are in The Family Man right here, how it's done.
Exactly.
All right, but you had already done your final thoughts, words for me. Now we get to me because, just overall, because to finally have sit down and watch The Family Man in all of its glory from beginning to end, well, again, this movie did not disappoint for me. I really enjoyed this. It was a really good Christmassy film to have good old Nick Cage, and with a lot of other great cast of talents from Tia Leone, Don Cheadle, Jeremy Piven, Saul Rubinak, Joseph Sommer, the list goes on, young Mackenzie Vega, and the Malkovich twins, everybody else that was involved, Danny Elfman's music and score, Brett Ratner's direction, good writing and good storytelling, the funny and emotional moments you don't expect, especially for anybody the first time watching this movie, but yet at the end, look what happens in the end, and for Jack Campbell. A happily ever after for him and Kate. Again, I really enjoyed this from beginning to end. Like I said, it may not be, I don't know, because, it popped in my head, even before we did our review, because, thinking of this, that, I don't know, because, again, as much as I enjoyed it, it wouldn't be, my immediate go-to Nick Cage film, because plenty of more than just this one, of course. I mean, let's face it, again, I mentioned National Treasure, but others I can't forget to mention, Con Air, best example, and a bunch of others he's done. Even if we enjoy some of the films that Nick Cage has done that are kind of not that good, but just overall, the film itself really good, very emotional with what it has to offer. What more do I have to say? Overall, it's an excellent Christmassy film to have good old Nick Cage as the lead.
Absolutely,
yeah. And how many stars we give it? We'll start with you.
I give it.
You do the 5 out of 5. So
I give it 5 stars.
5 stars?
I give it 5 stars because of the plot, because of the character build up. Going from one we'll call it dimension to another. One alternate lifestyle to another.
The glimpse.
The glimpse.
As Cash calls it.
Exactly.
Well, and as for me, because as you all know, I do 10 out of 10, and yes, I give The Family Man 10 out of 10 stars. You give it 5 out of 5, and for me, 10 out of 10 stars. That's how many stars each me and my dad give for The Family Man. And what about you guys? What did you think of The Family Man itself? Would The Family Man be one of those Christmassy films you would watch during the holiday seasons? Would this being your top favorite films of Nick Cage, one of your go-to Nick Cage films, favorite moments, and how you first felt and reacted to this movie the first time you watched it? You didn't know what was coming, you had no idea, but then as the movie proceeded, did you get some good laughs? Did you get tear-jerky like he did? And especially on account of the
the one time.
Well, yes, and on account of the ending to the movie, because that hits hard. Any favorite moments, favorite lines, and all the great stuff that goes on in this movie? What Jack Campbell goes through, the glimpse, and, done by Cash himself. Just everything that goes on in The Family Man from beginning to end. Just, again, overall, what do you think of The Family Man itself, with what all me and my dad had to say about it, our review, and yes, what did you think of our review of The Family Man? Leave comments and give this review video a like, as always. And so, guys, with all that being said, we thank you very much for watching. We hope you guys enjoyed our review of The Family Man, starring good old Nick Cage. More review videos are coming your way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and we will see you guys in the next video. review. And of course, continuing on with the Christmassy reviews on the weekdays, what I'll be reviewing next, it'll just be me, because it's another Christmassy film that does have the family in the title. However, the third and last word in the title, it has stone to it. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. I'm sure you guys do as well. But just overall, again, stay tuned for that. All right, any last words? Say goodbye?
I must be off.
He says that, and you can say Happy Holidays if you want.
Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah.
There we go.
Merry Christmas.
Happy New Year.
I was going to go into the Chevy Chase line, but I'm not going to do that.
No, I think you mean Cousin Eddie.
Because, no. When he's
Oh, no, the
standing there,
other
he says,
one.
you know, kiss my butt, kiss his butt. He didn't say butt, but I don't
Happy
say
Hanukkah.
Yeah, Happy Hanukkah. Yeah.
He finishes off with Happy Hanukkah. Okay, well, he says that. Great way for those being your last words for this review. And as for me, again, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and peace out. And Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.